Thank you. Thank you so very much. And thank you to those of you that have joined us on Facebook and YouTube. We are not ignoring you. We had some technical issues, so we didn't forget to. Thank you for joining. At this stage, we are going to go. We have one more speaker who is unfortunately stuck in the aircraft as we are speaking. Delayed flight. Well, it happens all over the world, not only Nigeria. We wish her safe trip. If she's still able to join us, we will bring her in. Otherwise, for now, we are now free to ask our questions. You can use the chat to ask your questions. You can raise up your hand, use the emoji, because we cannot see all of you. You can use the emoji to raise up your hand. And let's roll. And kindly unmute yourself.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Lady K. I really appreciate you. My name is Osben Momo from Nigeria, working with Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. As a matter of fact, when I got to this invite, I saw it as a very important invite that I must attend this program this evening. I'm going to be talking from the industry point of view of the ministry. As you are aware, the ministry is Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. And although we'll be talking about trade and issues that relate to export per se, we, from the industrial angle of the ministry, we are also looking at it very, very critically as an issue that we all have to sit down as government and private sectors to review. But from what I understand, I would have been thinking that for us to even initiate any prohibition on any goods or services, it should be such that we actually wanted to develop that particular aspect of that product. Like, for example, let's say agro products that are crude. If we are bounding, if we're prohibiting the crude stage of those items out of the country, it should be such that we have a plan to improve on what is being produced, to make it more exportable, to make it to be more, to attract more value when it gets to the global market. So I would have suggested that for all policymakers that are here, for us to go back to the drawing board and look at those list of items that have been prohibited for export. Because based on what Mommy actually said earlier, if we're prohibiting export of those items, we are likely going to be losing more of forex, which we as a country we are looking for seriously to augment or to ameliorate the challenges that even our manufacturers are facing today. So I also want to ask our facilitators this evening, if we put Nigeria side by side, the rate of our imports and the rate of our exports, what exactly can we say to that? Are we really doing well when it comes to import, export? And a country that is doing more of import than export is definitely likely going to be doing more of borrowing to augment some of its challenges. So I actually wanted us to really look at these critical issues and see how we can sit down together to come up with workable policies that can really help Nigeria as a whole. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you so very much. Please, if you don't mind, can you share your contacts, your names, any contact you feel comfortable sharing on the chat, please? Thank you very much.
I'll do just that. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you. It's Semede John, the old soldier.
Thank you very much.
The warrior is
old soldier, warrior, and all that. And I will not give up. Nigeria is our country. We don't have any other country. And Nigeria cannot be a second-class citizen anywhere in the world where we have both human and natural resources. My first observation is that what is banned in other countries, after signing agreements, you use banned lines, like what we did under the CET program. When you now say ban, the first question I will ask, thank God we have our mother principal at the World Trade Office. But if you have your mother as the principal of a school, are we not supposed to be performing well? These are issues that should not be discussed by any Nigerians. Policies, I don't want to go into policy somersault because the OPS members are board members of most government agencies. When they are there, what do they discuss and what do they bring back to us? Another issue again is that I don't want to go back to history. The center is too strong and it's not the center to manage export. In other countries that we have visited, export activities and all that, mostly in the states and the local government. For instance, in 1960, we didn't have problem. We had more than enough and we were exporting for industries and local consumption. Today, subsistence farming is still 80%. We cannot even feed our families. Commercial farming is 18%. And with all the fertilizer, what we hear in Uncle Borua's program, there is no food on the table. The last one, we are talking of plantation agriculture, which is only 2% in a country we claim to be giant. Between 1960 and 1963, we didn't have problem. Between 1960, the problem started in 1964 because of the regions. The federal government took everything. That is why we are suffering today. From 1964 to 1986, what did we see? In 1986, IMF came up with all the SAP policies and all that. Where has that one put us? Importation of food. We came up with prohibition, NES, and so on and so forth. We have to go back to the region. When some of us are talking of restructuring, we are not talking of collapsing the 36 states. Restructure. Agri should not be at the federal level. For instance, a state like Edo should be able to provide palm oil. And if yam is under ban, and the people of Benue are not reacting, it shows that the federal is doing what they are not supposed to do. Because if Benue State is getting money from yam, Kaduna is getting from ginger, by today, we will not be where we are. Benue State will develop the entire value chain, like what Ethiopia has done with Ethiopia Airlines. Finally, when we talk of amendments, laws and all that, do they take us along? Because they know, you called me a soldier, and I'm a soldier, I will continue to fight, in the sense that things have to be better. Those who are operating today at the ports, with the custom, with the amendment and all that, we are hearing of import duty on cars on daily basis. Is that how other countries are running their economy? And last but not the least, what is the role of central bank in all these matters? Things need to change because 2 years ago, they started with RT200. I was the only soldier fighting that export is not under CBN. Today, we hear all sorts of things, and we are experts across the globe. When we attend meeting in Institute of Export, UK and all that, they will tell you, a country where you belong to, you have not been able to treat yourself. You are coming here to talk. Please, let us respect ourselves. Let the organized private sector be at the forefront and the MDA be at the front, at the back. It's not a matter of taking position. And at the end of the day, what we hear is trade fair and trade mission and policies. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I'll quickly go to Bello Adamu. That's the name I see here. Bello Adamu, please unmute yourself. You have the floor.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Thank you so much.
Okay, as I was saying, my name is Bello Adamu. I'm the founder of Belzenco Global Links Nigeria Limited, and we are one of the major key players of sweet potato flour production. And I was so worried when I since last 2 weeks I saw the topic. I was so worried and also fully prepared to hide what the ban is all about, because what really happened is that the last government that passed, they really prepare us as a young oriented exporters with the thinking and the notion of seeing how we can drive how we can support the economy of the country. by exporting our finishing product to this international country. Now I'm coming to say that the foods we have been banned to export to some of this country, it is really, really disturbing, and it is really not encouraging. So I would like to ask a question which I really want to get the answer. Does that mean that we people like us that are working from the aspect of agro value chain of developing a product, send out to sell finishing product and repatriate the currency, does that mean all what we are targeting or what we are preparing to, like, see how we can hit the market, does that mean all that has to stop? Does that mean it's been banned? We can no longer do anything? Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. I believe the technical team, you have noted the question. Okay, so let's have Chibudike and Nene. I hope I called your name right. If I didn't, pardon me. Please unmute yourself and you have the floor.
Yes, good evening. My name is Chibudike, and then you are close enough. Right. I'm a lawyer here practicing in Lagos, Nigeria, and the directive by the president for the Nigerian Customs Service to fully comply with the export prohibition. I don't think anyone here thinks that's a good idea, right? To understand why it was brought up in the first place, as far back as 1989, the reason given then was that, the farmers were exporting their products to earn dollars, and that was causing food shortages in Nigeria, and people could not afford it anymore, right? First, I don't think the exportation of products is what causes food shortages, right? You have to deal with problems. The causes of those problems have been identified by Mavis old work during his presentation. So I think if we face those problems first and tackle them effectively, then we don't have food shortages, right? But banning the exportation of items for which we are known as the largest producers in the world, for instance, you have cassava, you have yam, it's just costing the government much needed revenue. I think someone was dedicated that mentioned that if we were able to export these products and earn foreign currency, then the issue of the naira depreciating against the dollar would, be effectively handled, right? So I wish there was a way the conversations we have here can be taken from our mouths to the president here or whoever is working on this team to let them know what we think of their policies and the actual policies we believe will make a difference in Nigeria. Right? Because the compliance with the Export Prohibition Act, it doesn't help the country, it doesn't help our revenue, it won't help with inflation. So I don't think it's a good policy, but that's just my opinion. That's what I wanted to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Madam Omolara Akanji, another soldier. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Lady K. I want to congratulate all the presenters today. And I think they have spoken to the issue. The lawyer, Martins, I hope I'm right. The lawyer that analyzed all the policies, as it were, had done a great job. And that is what is causing crisis in the export sector. Because there is, within the laws, there are areas where, the government itself is start to shoot itself by the leg. And so there are a lot of somersault policy. My advice is that if we have opportunity to speak to them, to the government, both in the Ministry of Finance and Central Bank, they need to have stakeholders, informed of any policy before it is rolled out. Otherwise, you will still have this conflict. Most of the policies that were on the pages of documents during the commodity board period are still there, not repudiated, not cancelled, and they put another one there. So if custom is telling you now that they are not doing trade facilitation, they are right, because the thing that helped them to do revenue drive is still there as a policy. So we need to sit down and reconcile all this policy issue so that we know where we can help the export sector to grow and be more effective and help the economy. That's my submission. I have other things that are put in the chat box. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. I believe we have some questions on the floor, but for now, let's have some answers. So any of the speaker can go ahead. I think Femi Boyede has some. You have to.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very conscious that in Nigeria, our Muslim brothers and sisters will be getting ready to break their fast. That's why I went ahead to put most of what I wanted to say in the chat box, in the hope that Dr. Taiwo, a member of the technical team, will harvest all of this and include them in the flip book that comes out. But it's critical. The answer I want to give is to the question from Mr. Bello Adamu on what happens to the investments that are already on ground. Like Bosun Sholari said, I also mentioned a few women. I mentioned those people because I know them directly. I was, what do they call it now? I was instrumental to opening up the markets in Gambia for a few women-based businesses in Nigeria. And I know that 80% of these people, they actually struggled with borrowings from family and friends, because it's even difficult to access funding to start their businesses. And they've gone fantastically high. I mean, they've progressed very highly in positioning themselves for export. To have sweet potato flour, for crying out loud, it's not drying the sweet potato on the roads. It's a processing plant. It must have cost an arm and a leg to the investor. And if we now say, and this is why I actually wanted to make this point, the prohibition not only mentions the tuber, but also its derivatives. It mentions the grains and their derivatives. So sweet potato flour is a derivative of the sweet potato tuber. Gari is a derivative of cassava. Cassava chip, one of the biggest exports to China, is a derivative of cassava. Industrial starch is a derivative of cassava. There are companies out there in Edo State. There's a company that spent almost $1 million to process cassava into cassavina. Cassavina measures her with semovita around the world, or semolina. So if we're talking about invoking and executing, should they shut down? And when we're talking about this thing, I also want to quickly, I will just make this illustration that I will stop for now. There are two major species of beans, the black-eyed beans and the honey beans, ewa oloyin. Nigerians don't consume ewa oloyin. Nigeria's staple consumption is the black-eyed beans. Ewa oloyin will rank top 5 among Nigeria's exports to North America. I'm sure, Lady K, you are aware of this in the African stores in Canada.
Yes.
So what happens to ewa oloyin when we ban the exportation of beans? It gluts the market here and rots in mile 12, O2 and Dawanu. What happens to all of these investments? This is the reason why I believe that not only that the partnership with Business Day is welcome, but that now we need to bring in our brothers, our colleagues in the public sector to understand the critical importance of an all stakeholder engagement, for us to speak truth to one another so that we all come out with an action plan that allows Nigeria to benefit from all fronts. I already put the model of the Asian tigers in the chat box. It's let the wheat grow, let the chaff grow. But government will now be intentional. As of this moment, Nigeria does not have a policy or strategy on export-oriented production. Exporters go into the open market to buy. When we have export-oriented production, when I was DG in Ekiti State, we undertook a tour to Ghana, Hema, where a Nigerian went to open a 40 hectares plantation for pineapple, only pineapple, accredited by the government of Ghana to export processed fresh pineapple from Ghana. That is export-oriented production. Let me stop for now. Thank you.
What
I hope that answers Alhaji Bello's question.
What of yam? You were buying it.
Okay,
so
very
well, very well. And
thank you so much.
No, John, you are very correct. Because when I was in Ekiti State, I helped to set up the yam processing center.
Yeah.
It was the capacity builder consultant to us was Olu. Olu, as what do you call, Lady K will know. Olu not only guarantees the exportation of pounded yam flour in the UK and in North America, but has even set up a a packaging operation in Maryland, in the United States of America. Where will they get their what do you call it, raw materials from? These are value-added exports, not primary products exports. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We have anyone who wants to make comments again?
Lady K, can I just make a quick one before I run for my prayers? So I was just trying to say what Mr. Boyede was saying about developing what did he say? Is it factories? I forgot I lost my memory. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, you see, when you have people like, if I want to have organization or talking trade like this around the world, or that could support our exporters, is very important. So in addition to policy, in addition to the suggestion he put forward, and I said to you that there's need for us to have a comprehensive focused strategy for export promotion, right? I think there's one important note is that I think we should begin to develop a policy reform advocacy around every discussion that we make. What do I mean by policy advocacy? Now, stakeholders of this interest will come together and begin to make advocacy to government on the need either to do a policy revisal of whether pronouncement has been made. But I think most importantly, we must our export-oriented industries must, first of all, ensure that they are ready to go out there to compete in the export market. I thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. So we are rounding up at this stage. Any last comment before we go? Mr. Boyede, please. Femi Boyede, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I was actually hoping that you just pick 2 or 3 comments from the chat. Don't bother about picking mine. There are so many others. And
yeah.
Can you see this from my? I can't see myself, but I'm just trying to show a book to you. Can you see this?
Yes, we can see.
Strategy we have 5 more minutes.
Policy.
Okay, so this book was, when Nigeria instituted that export ban in 2015, we tried to write a book. I wrote a chapter on how can Nigeria navigate around those policy pronouncements that it has made in line with its obligation at the WTO. Just a way of letting you guys know.
Thank you so very much. We have about
Soft
5 more
copy,
minutes
please.
to round up. If we do not read out your comment or question on the chat, please look out for answers on our social media platform later. And if you have not joined the WhatsApp group, please use the opportunity to join. As we are rounding up, we have a tradition. If you can, turn on your camera so we can all take pictures. And if anyone has a last minute thing to say among the speakers of today, just 1 minute. You have anything to say? And before we go, we should all please let me share my screen for you to see for the last time for today. Okay, don't let me say last time for now. Okay, you see my screen? Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, yes.
Okay, what do you see?
Yes, we can see it.
You can see Business Day, right?
Yes,
we can see.
Okay, so this program today has been brought to you courtesy of Talking Trade and Investment Platform and Business Day. So it's not us alone. And you are going to see more of Business Day. We are collaborating on many fronts. And please patronize them, just like we are saying, like so many people have said today. Local, buy local. When we do not buy our own products, how are we going to grow as a people? I love Canada. A Canadian product is $1,000. The imported one is $500. But we will still do what? We will still buy Canadian. You know why? We know when we buy Canadian, we are putting money back into the system. We are going to have good roads. We are going to have jobs.
Exactly.
But for us as a people, even toothpick, if we see toothpick that is imported, we prefer that to the one that is made in Nigeria. We need a lot of education on how we can all value our own. So please choose to buy local, patronize local, encourage local, and all these policies. Again, we are not criticizing government policies. We are only speaking the minds of the people. And I'm happy that the government listens very well to us. That is Talking Trade and Investment Global. They are always listening to us, and they always catch what people are saying on the street that we are bringing to everybody.